So do you remember in the last video when I said that the situation with the Journey was a worst case scenario? Do you remember that? Yeah, it's worse. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another video. So as I showed when I said worst case scenario, the Journey that was smelling bad, this is worse. So this car was involved in a car accident on November the 11th. So it is currently in this state, and we're gonna take you back a few days to around the time that I picked up the car. That was on November the 14th. The accident happened on November the 11th. So I'm gonna take you through a little bit of the process of how we got here and where we will be going from here. So let's rewind the clock and take a look. All right, so this is day one of the Journey saga. I attempted to go pick it up from the parking lot where we normally park our vehicles, and I messaged the renter because the renter had not read any of the messages about return instructions. The tracker stopped working, although the tracker is in an area where it could be easily bumped and knocked out of place. So you could take that sort of with a grain of salt. Doesn't necessarily mean that, you know, the car is being stolen. But waited for the half hour. I live 40 minutes from the airport, which is unfortunate for me. But I waited until 3 o'clock. Car still wasn't returned. Sent a renter the message and asked them where they're located, and they said they're about 2 hours away. And the car was supposed to have been returned at 2:30, and it is now after 3 o'clock. So I'm not going to be waiting at the airport for 2+ hours for this car to get returned. I'm going to go ahead and head back home, which is another 40-minute drive home, and I will eventually turn myself around and come back and get the car from the airport whenever it's returned. So when you have situations like this, you know, you don't panic, first of all, because it's very easy to look at, you know, something like, oh, you know, the messages are not being read, the car is not tracking anymore, we're afraid that they've stolen the car. I don't believe in anxiety getting yourself anywhere, so I am going to continue to maintain a positive attitude through the whole thing, and I am going to be confident that the car will be returned at some point tonight. So hopefully the renter will request an extension to keep the car for however long they need to keep it for, until it's time to leave it at the airport. I'm just kind of surprised, to be honest, because most renters are pretty much wanting to get to the airport when they're supposed to get here so that they can catch their flight. So I'm not really sure exactly what's happening and why they're so late to return the car, but hey, we're gonna go ahead and keep posted on it, find out when the vehicle does end up getting returned. I will plan on messaging the renter probably around 6. If I still don't hear that the car has been returned, I will give them more than 2 hours to return the vehicle, and I will stay in contact with Turo, and we'll see how things go. So just keeping you all posted on the process, and it's going to be a long one, so stay tuned for the next segment. All right, so here we are back at the airport, and if you can notice, it is dark, and the reason why it is dark is because our renter returned the car hours late. It is now 7:30, and the car was supposed to have been back at 2:30. So yeah, that's those are the fun things that come with the job. So I'm in the process of walking over to the car right now, and we will survey it, take a look at the damage, and we will be on our way out of here. So I am pretty close and still don't see it. Yep, there it is. So I can see the front of it, which wasn't the part that actually was in the accident. So let's see what the back looks like. All right, there she is. So some of the biggest things that I wanted to look at was, did the quarter panel get damaged? And did the trunk get damaged? And so that's what I'm going to be concentrating on the most as far as damage goes. Yep, there's, I believe the quarter panel's been hit. So that is gonna need a little bit of work. I don't know though, that's actually kind of hard to tell. Body line on the trunk actually looks okay. The trunk got scratched. The light is cracked, which I already saw. There's a parking sensor that's pressed in, so that's going to be quite a project to take on. And this is very heavily pressed in, so I don't know how badly that impacts the trunk itself. So we will take this over to the body shop tomorrow morning, and we will get a quote and find out what our damage is. I'm curious to know if the trunk even opens. Barely. So we're gonna go ahead and just keep that shut. So here we go. Let's go ahead and start driving this puppy home. Poor journey. Poor journey. All right, so it is the next day. There is somebody doing work in another house, so that's where you hear some of the background noise there. But we've removed the bumper cover off camera. It was held in by a bunch of plastic rivets and 2 small screws that I put back into their holes up in this corner right here. So surveying the damage, definitely the floor has been pushed in, and then this bumper itself has also been pushed in. So really the next step here to figuring out what we're going to have to do in order to fix this. This is also broken, so we're going to have to get a new bracket for this. But really the next step from here is we're going to try to remove this bumper and see if we can get it completely off of the car. And that appears to be really the only other pieces that we're going to need in order to get this car completely fixed. So body shop is working on a quote as we speak, but I offered to dismantle the car on my end. So we definitely need a new bumper cover. I put some of the parts into the trunk, and you can see some of the parking sensors have fallen off. The one from here, and then the one over on the other side, I believe, also fell off. So there's going to be some parts that are going to need to be replaced from that standpoint. So we'll try to see. This one's probably unsalvageable. It's pretty badly bent, but there is a possibility that we can weld this one back on, is what she said. So we will see how that works. Basically all these pieces are the plastic rivets and some of the pieces that hold the bumper in. The bumper was also held in just underneath the weather stripping right here. So yeah, we will go ahead and continue tearing down, and we will see what else we find. So to just give you a little bit of an update, it is nighttime. So I played around with it a little bit. We did a few things just to see if we were going to make any more progress other than what I had showed earlier. So this bumper is basically going to stay on there. We're going to be leaving that as it is and taking it into the collision shop so they can take a look at it. Now, the only other thing that I am going to plan on doing before I turn this in and basically stop what I'm about to do is the trailer hitch is going to get removed. So we've removed 3 of the 4 bolts. The 4th bolt is just over the exhaust. So I actually discovered an exhaust puller wrench, because if you have ever worked with these rubber gaskets right up there that hold the exhaust together, they are an absolute pain. So I am going to get a tool that's going to help me remove that so I can get to this last bolt, so we can go ahead and remove the trailer hitch. Chances are the trailer hitch may be bent, but we will take a look at it once we get it removed from the car. But just to give you a full rundown of what is broken on the car, obviously it needs a bumper cover. So it's going to need that. It's going to need the styrofoam absorber that goes between the bumper and the bumper cover. Obviously the bumper is going to need to be replaced. The floor to the trunk is pressed in, so that is going to need to be replaced. This bracket is supposed to sit right here. That was also broken in the accident, so that's going to have to get fixed. There is a cover that is for the spare tire. You can see a little bit of a gash right there. They're probably going to want to replace that as well, although I think we can probably get away with leaving that alone, but you know, we'll leave it to the experts to decide. The spare tire actually is still holding air, so there's nothing wrong with the spare tire, so thankfully we won't need a replacement on that. I did take a look underneath the rest of the car, through the suspension, and everything seems to be okay there, so hopefully we won't need to do anything there. There are some scratches right next to the emblem, and then we also have the taillight right here, which will need to be replaced, and obviously we already took stock of this one. This one's going to need to be replaced, and lots of fasteners. And then our quarter panel right in this area here, and then there's also a small dent that is very difficult to see on camera right about there, if you can see it. That is also going to have to be repaired. So that is pretty much where we're at with the journey. We are going to, like I said, leave it as is until we get the trailer hitch removed, and then we will go ahead and get this car taken to the body shop once again to decide what the actual cost is going to be to repair it. So we are officially at day 11 since the accident, and basically where we're at this point is Turo has done their own calculations as far as what they think that the claim is going to cost based on the pictures that I sent, and they have already sent me payment. So I am ready to pay for this car to get done, but it is unfortunately just waiting for the collision shop. We are waiting on the collision shop's quote to see what the damage is on this car. So we are waiting for that as well. But in the meantime, it is basically just ripped apart with the bumper cover removed and just kind of hanging out. So we will be waiting to see what they give us as far as a quote. What do you think the damage is going to be? Leave a comment down below and let us know what you think. And next video that we do for the journey, I will show you what the cost is going to be to repair this car and what the final result is. I'm super excited for this one to finally get done, but it is not going to be getting done until December. So in the meantime, you will probably see this car in the background in a lot of videos. In the meantime, we have multiple vehicles that we're working on. So I will continue to look for new ways of delivering some content to you so that you can see some of the process and kind of a day in the life with these cars. So that is going to do it for today. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll catch you very soon.